The next step is to remove the heaters from the fishing line, and all we need to do is cut it and slide them out. Once they are out of the fishing line, the next step is to stretch them out to make sure they cover well the areas where we are interested in measuring temperature, which is where the thermocouples are, and also depends on the design of the sensors. But before stretching them out, there are two potential options or paths to follow. One is to feed one leg of the coil through its center, making sure that that the last loop falls perfectly into the core of the coil. Let me zoom out. I have a piece of rope here that I can use to explain this part. I just hope it works. Let me get it ready. Okay. So again, for this potential path or option, what we need to do is pretend that this is a magnified version of a heater. We just need to fit one leg through the center of the coil and make sure that we do not leave any half loops or extra loops that can cause problems later when we try to fit the heater inside the polyimide tubing and or the needle. So the goal is to make it look something like this. The other potential path or option before stretching them out is to simply fold one leg on the side of the coil. However, based on the heaters I've built, I've noticed that it's easier to stretch them out when there is one of the legs inside the coil that can work as a guide when you're stretching them out. So again, I'm going to try to use the rope. This is again very simple. So what you will do is just simply fold it on its side and then insert it into the polyimide tubing. Stretching the heaters is quite simple. All you need is a targeted length that will make sure that all the thermocouples inside your sensor are well covered by the heater. You can do it by hands, but after several ones, I guarantee your fingers are going to hurt. Unfortunately, one of the problems with using bare hands is that both ends of the heater that you hold on to stretch the heater never really stretch. You can also use pliers, but you have to be careful and one, avoid removing the enamel from the wire, and two, avoid destroying the heater, which often happens. Another option that I have tried before is using one PCB board to hold the heater in one side and then use my hand to stretch the other side, trying to grab as less coils as possible, or as less of the heater as possible. It's a little tricky, but it just requires some practice. However, this is probably the fastest and easiest way of them all. And of course, you need some practice to know approximately how much tension to apply to make sure you get the right length. I would try and go little by little until you get accustomed what's the approximate tension you need to reach your desired length. All right, and as you can see in the one I just did, the side where I was using my fingers doesn't really stretch, so that's an issue that with practice and again trying to grab as less as the heater as possible. And as you can see, this is fairly simple. Just want to make sure that you don't damage the heater. And as I mentioned earlier, I have found, or at least for me, it's easier to stretch the heaters when one of the legs it's on the inside of the coil, because I can use that as a guide. I'm gonna try with another one, see if this one goes faster than the last time. Apparently not.